Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to freshly mill flour and make homemade flour tortillas. I'm doing this mainly for two reasons. Well, first of all, it's more nutritious because I'm getting all of the nutrients from the entire wheat berry as opposed to using a store-purchased ultra-processed version of flour to make these at home. My youngest, a lot of you know, is autistic and he also has food aversions. He suffers from ARFID and there are only a handful of things that he'll eat. So it's so hard to get him to eat things that are just really nutritious. And secondly, I suffer from a genetic mutation, and a lot of you may know this genetic mutation, or you might even have it, the MTHFR gene mutation. And for those of you that don't know, one of the symptoms is that your body essentially cannot break down synthetic folate, which is folic acid. And if you live in the United States, you know folic acid is fortified in a lot of the processed grocery goods that you can get at the store. Anything that's whole grain and that's prepackaged, cereal, flours, even if you're making things from scratch, the flour that you buy that's processed, it's fortified. And so for me, it's just going to work in my home if I mill my own flour. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to show you, let's experiment and see if I can come up with something that's easy to make flour tortillas. And I'll be doing more videos milling fresh flour and sort of reworking things that I make in my home, and you might find them helpful. So here we go. So first, I'm going to scoop in my hard white wheat berries or grains into this manual flour mill. And some people even use blenders to do this. I purchased this because I didn't want to be reliant on electricity, so we are just doing it with elbow grease. And you can see it's already milling this into a fine flour, and you can also adjust the settings. I like to sift this, and then the bran is sort of left, and I am going to be using that, but I'm just going to pass it through once again to break down even further. If I get a chance, I will link the type of mill that I'm using. There are so many out there. There are easier ways to do this. This is just what I decided to purchase and use in my house. Here I have 290 grams. By the way, I did not measure it when I milled it. I just mill it and I'm like, oh, that's enough to make some tortillas. If I had to guess, this is probably like 2 cups and a third. I would say 125 grams per cup, so you can do the math. But I'm going to eyeball because I make tortillas all the time. And I'm going to work with like, I don't know, teaspoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon of salt. Just going to give that a mix. I'm going to add half a cup of hot water to that. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. You could use like 3 tablespoons of butter, lard, shortening, rendered bacon fat. And now I'm just going to give everything a mix. Now I'm going to add a little more water. I want this to be slightly tacky. You don't want to work with the dry dough or your tortillas will be hard. So let's just keep kneading this. There we go. Now I'm just going to knead on a clean work surface. So there's 2 tips I could give you if you're using milled flour. You need more hydration, especially with the hard wheat varieties, and knead longer to work up the gluten. You're going to feel like a grit to it, but that's okay. It's going to taste good. Okay, so the texture obviously does look a little bit less stretchy than what I would like, but it really is supposed to feel tender and slightly tacky. I'm hoping to achieve something similar to when I use like store purchased, bleached, or even unbleached processed flour. So, but this is kind of where I want it. You see how it's slightly tacky? That's what you want. Okay, I'm just going to divide this. I'm going to see if I can get at least 10 to 12 of these. And I'm going to do them small. And just kind of divide the dough into dough balls and just let it rest. I'm going to put it right back into the bowl. Here I'm just using the rest of that water to make the paper towels damp. And then just cover it up with the damp paper towels and let this rest. I'm going to let these rest for like 15 to 20 minutes. And you want to make sure they don't dry out. Okay. I'm going to roll these out. Yes, they feel a lot softer and more pliable after they rest. A light dusting of flour. Okay, this is a preheated griddle and I'm going to cook these. On the electric griddle, I have it preheated to the highest setting, 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and hopefully we get some air pockets and air bubbles. By the way, the longer that the dough, after you roll it out, sets on the side of the bowl, it helps with the air pockets. So you want to rest it after rolling it out. You want to try? You want to try? Okay, what do you, yeah, looks different. No?
Duh.
Okay, let's put a little butter on it. What do you think? So this is how he likes to eat tortillas these days, and that's with processed cheese. I'm working on it, but every little victory counts. Okay. Put it in the microwave. You want to melt it? So this is how he wants to eat it. Okay. Ah, I gotta flip this, I forgot. Cover that up for now. Yeah, I know. Not bad, you ate it? Okay, so this is what they look like. Not super soft, but this works. This works. Ah. Okay, so what I've done and what you can do, I froze these individually and separated each rolled out dough ball. I rolled it out so it's uncooked. I separated it with wax paper so they don't stick to each other. And anytime I want a fresh tortilla, I can just take one out and cook however many I need, and you put the rest in the freezer. So that's kind of like my freezer prep hack for fresh tortillas any day of the week. So for those of you looking to add whole grains and more nutrition, give this recipe a try. I know I'm going to continue making this, and it's really good. So that's the video for today. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.